Huh. What about now? Hello, anyone now? Headphones. Here we go. Okay. How about now? Hey, Jasper. Hey, McLean. Hey, Vince. Hey, everybody. Can you hear us now? It's been a crazy. There we go.
You talking about that Sprint merger? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? No, I'll tell you kind of what's going on, guys, is because of the COVID-19, because of the quarantine, because of all the stuff that's happening, normally our studio here doesn't change. We don't have, that's gainy. We don't we don't move our lights, we don't move our cameras, we don't move our microphones, we don't, everything is kind of set up, and our computer studio, everything's set up normal. But we've been doing a lot of live streams in other places. We did the virtual sake tasting at Big Box Karaoke, where we kind of broke down the studio, moved it, and then I've been doing live DJ sets from Pinpoint. And so we broke down the studio and moved it. And we just moved it up here, and it's been like, every time you move something, there's a whole lot of kind of chasing your tail, trying to figure out what went wrong. And it's amazing how you think you're putting everything together correctly and then, doesn't. But anyway, we're back. We're here. Shout outs to Jay. Shout outs to a bunch of other people that are tuning in here. These are some load-bearing toys, according to Vince. But yeah, this is the Drive-In Speakerbox. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is something that we do every week. We've been doing this before the whole viral outbreak happened, and we talk about movies. That's kind of what we do. We talk movies. We talk everything about Hollywood. We just talk. I didn't like the way the light wasn't, I was having to adjust. We talk about stuff, and Hollywood's been really, really weird right now because of all of the quarantine, all the stuff that's happening, because we're not getting new movies. We're not getting new, as Vince says, since the before time.
The long ago.
The long ago. And, normally we have a very rigid structure to the show. We tell you what's coming out in theaters this week. We tell you what we watched last week. We tell you the box office report. We tell you what's happening in the news. I mean, it is a very structured show. But as we have learned over the past couple of weeks, nothing has structure anymore. Everything is crazy. As Vince just said, can't wait for those box office totals. I'll give you a heads up. It's 0.
The movie release schedule for a month at a time is 1 or 2 movies.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this was in the news recently. I saw this and thought it was kind of cool. But just announced this week that the Duplass brothers, who are a lot of people know, Jay and Mark Duplass, they make a lot of really cool indie films. Creep 1 and Creep 2, both being very creepy and very cool and fun to watch. They are really concerned about indie filmmakers at this time, because a lot of indie filmmakers risk everything to make these movies, putting everything out on the line, and then the release is not to make a pun, but Paramount. And they're going to try and figure out ways to help indie filmmakers whose premieres were canceled due to coronavirus. There's a lot of stuff that is coming down the pipe, and that we're just now experiencing the beginning of all of this, and it's going to get crazier, and it's going to get wackier, and it's going to get scarier as this kind of starts to, as I keep saying, trickle up. And movies are a huge business, a huge industry, billions and billions of dollars industry. And a lot of those, we're just now starting to get a little bit of the inkling of the repercussions of what's happening now. But, production schedules have stopped too. So Netflix has been really aggressive, as has Amazon Prime, of putting any sort of movie that's finished on, like, one of the movies I worked on like years ago just got put on Netflix, and I was like, oh, hey, Grader's on Netflix. I worked on it. I think I'm even in that movie for like 2 seconds, and I thought that was kind of there's a part at a bar scene that didn't need audio.
Isn't that the same movie you can watch at Walmart when you walk in?
Oh yeah, in Arkansas,
yeah.
it's always on the demo TVs. But yeah, Grader, it's on Netflix. But Netflix is being really really aggressive in trying to get content, because as we're all at home, quarantined up, we are burning through content like at record rates, man. We are just straight smoking the internet, and to the point where Amazon Prime and Netflix and a lot of these streaming services are like, "Hey, could you maybe do the SD versions of this streaming?"
Well, in Europe, they did. They chopped it down to save bandwidth and all that stuff. They made it where you don't have access to any HD content on those services.
Here's where I know everything's doom and gloom and everything's and I can't ever miss an opportunity to give a good "I told you so," but the boom operator called this shit a long time ago, and the boom operator, he's me, I'm Bo, and one of the things that I warned in my soothsaying, Bostradamus, if you will, was that the more of this stuff that we put on the cloud, we don't own the keys to our content anymore. And what if comes a time where we don't have unlimited bandwidth, or we don't have all these kind of things, and we can't get access to the content that we want? A DVD collection, you're going to get that HD no matter what. It's going to be there. You don't have 3 days to watch it, and if you start it, you got 15 hours to watch it. And then, I've bought movies on Amazon, quote unquote, bought movies on Amazon, only to find out that, a year later, I go to watch it, and it's been removed from their library for whatever reason. And I'm like, wait a minute, I bought that. That belongs to me. And they go, no, sir, it does not.
I've had digital music like that. Yeah, purchased an album because that was the only way to listen to the song. And it was like, oh, it's only $6 or $8. Yeah, I'll pay for it this once. And then it's if you take it out of your library one time, you got to wait until they have it accessible for download again.
Chase says, he goes, I have fears about what kind of capital is going to be available when this is over. Was already tough. And no, you're absolutely right. And if I am following, because Chase is also a filmmaker. I've actually worked on some of his short films. I think Hush was one that I don't. Chase, if there's a way for people to watch, check that out in the comments. I don't know if there's a link you could put up there. But there's it's really, really and Door in the Woods, another film that he did. I didn't work on it, but I visited the set. And but if you're talking about investment capital and capital to be making indie films and new films, I think after this is over, everything's not going to go back to normal. We're not going to be like, June 30th, even if we come up with a cure, or we come up with, it's not going to be like, all right, everything's exactly the way it was before all this started. Here's $17 million for your movie about, space hookers with, zombie ice pirates. I mean, those are two different movies, actually, space hookers and ice pirates, but I just kind of, those movies actually exist. Or maybe it's zombie hookers, and I'm sure there's space hookers because it's the oldest profession, man. There's gonna be hookers everywhere in space and in time,
everywhere in space.
Everywhere in space.
Yeah, once we get past Mars, that's all we're gonna find.
Just hookers everywhere.
Space hookers
Alien
everywhere.
hookers. Like I watch Star Trek. Like there's whole planets that are just like, and we're not just saying female. We're talking about men and women here, or Gooblons. Like there's Gooblon hookers out there, and Zorbops, and like all
if
these.
you find a planet that's nothing but hooker people, don't play football if they invite you to, because otherwise you're going to crash through the glass and you're going to get put on trial. It's going to be a bad time for everybody.
A bad deal. We learned.
Wesley Crusher learned.
He sure did. Vince over on YouTube says, yeah, I'm watching all the stuff I have on my hard drive that I never had a chance to watch. I'm watching I, Claudius, and Patrick Stewart. Yeah, long hair Patrick Stewart. That's a really weird look for him because he has become so iconic without it.
Well, in Excalibur, he had just a little bit of hair and a circle beard.
He did have the circle beard.
He was father of Guinevere. And he was the first person that Arthur came to the rescue of to be the knight of the round. He was the first one.
Man, I miss Patrick Stewart. Did you watch the Picard?
No, I haven't watched any Pickard yet.
No Pickard?
No, that's only because, man,
Rufus T. Pickard.
There's an episode of Next Gen where they travel back to the 1800s and they meet Mark Twain and. The lady that runs the hotel or the room they're staying at keeps calling him Mr. Pickard.
Mr. Pickard.
Yeah, so I think it's really fun to say Pickard. No, I haven't watched any of that yet, man, because they dick with all the timeline real bad.
Well, spoiler alert, they killed Isheb, and that was pretty rough.
Is that like a main character of that series introduced for the first time in that series?
No, it was Seven of Nine's like child boy that she raised on Voyager.
Child boy.
Yeah, he was kind of like he was a young Borg that they desimilated, and she was very paternal to Isheb. And
I don't remember. Dude, it's been a while since I watched Voyager, but doesn't the Borg from Next Gen? Hugh, doesn't Hugh make an appearance too?
Yeah, he's all up in it.
Yeah,
he's doing some cool stuff.
So
good old Hugh. Let's see. Vince says this isn't a diss, but Patrick Stewart can't play a normal average dude because his acting style is so big, and that's well, I don't know. Patrick Stewart is Patrick Stewart is Patrick Stewart. He's always Patrick Stewart. And there's an episode of Extras. If you've never watched Extras with everyone's favorite person to get mad at, Ricky Gervais, I highly recommend the show. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen several episodes. And basically, he gets celebrity friends to come up and play themselves, but incredibly dumb, over exaggerated version of themselves. And the one with Patrick Stewart is amazing.
Is that the show that had? No, that's not the one. What was that show that he did with? Warwick Davis, and Liam Neeson comes in and is like really over the top in it too.
That might be extras, actually. That's
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds
It's like they
very
play.
extras-esque.
No, it's a show. It stars like Warwick Davis primarily, but it has Ricky Gervais in it quite a bit as like a talent agent or something.
Okay, well then this is not extras. Ricky Gervais in Extras is an extra going around trying to make it in Hollywood, and they're all tiny, very short form episodes. But yeah, the Patrick Stewart one, he's talking about the script that he wrote, and every detail is about making people's clothes fall off, and then you can see everything.
Wow.
Literally everything. And
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart doing it.
Vince knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, like Life is Small or Life is Short or something.
Yeah,
like that.
okay. Yeah, I have heard. I've not seen it, but yeah, I think you're right. That is the one.
Also, Life's Too Short. Patrick Stewart's not crazy over the top in that movie we were talking about last week, where the hacker kid in the school. He's just a bad guy, but he's not like
Or actually,
Shakespearean.
Green Room.
I was about to say that one too.
Yeah, Green Room is a fantastic movie. Have you've seen Green Room, haven't you?
I haven't. No, I've seen the trailers, and you've talked about it a couple of times.
One of the last Anton Yelchin movies before his tragic accident. But man, Green Room is really good and a kind of a companion piece to Blue Ruin. If you've never seen either of those movies, they're very, very good, very fun to watch. And I got to meet that director, actually. He did the first couple of episodes of True Detective that we're filming here until he got fired. But
the guy that had too much detail and was slowing production down.
And that's why, these places have production schedules, they have timelines, because you can't, like on some of these big budget movie sets, you can't just go, you know what? I know that we have like 150 people on set right now that are all getting day rates, but let's just go again. Let's get one more take of that tape recorder just spinning, and it doesn't really work. And Jeremy Saulnier, the director, he Blue Ruin and Green, like his previous movies were almost pretty much self-funded. They're very indie films, so when you're doing these indie films, you have the ability to play around a lot more and kind of breathe and be an auteur, an experiment, but not on a season 3 package of a very popular HBO show with a deadline and how many ever episodes they had to film. So that shit did not fly. And but he was a nice guy. He was a nice enough dude. I told him, I'm sure like most people do, I was just like, hey dude, I really loved Blue Ruin. That was my first introduction to your work. Good stuff. And yeah, and then he got fired. Anyway, Mahershala was really nice.
That's what everyone kept saying every time they ran into him.
Super nice guy. Let's see. Johnny Dalton says, my dad was an extra in Stone Cold.
He also said he likes that Patrick Stewart's name is on a DVD and he's only in the movie for like 3, 4, 5 seconds.
He's a bad guy.
You ever watch Trick or Treat, the movie
With the
about
R? With the little kid?
No, the movie about the 80s dude that like burned the hotel down, and then if you play the record backwards.
Oh, and it summons the demonic force.
Of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that DVD has Ozzy and Gene Simmons listed as its like stars, and neither one of them are in it for more than 2 to 3 seconds.
That's how they sold stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it sold me on it. I was like, what? Ozzy and Gene Simmons in a movie about an 80s dude?
So
And
question about, speaking of 80s dudes, even though it was 90s, Johnny Dalton, I do have a question about being an extra in Stone Cold. Did he get to meet Brian Bosworth? That's the question. If you've got some sort of fun memento from Brian Bosworth, then we need it. Send it to us. We'll put it on the shelf. It'll be awesome. Stone Cold. Wow. Mullets, man.
Yeah, dude, it was the boss.
The Boz are coming back. Let's see. Any other interesting things that I wanted to mention in the news? Okay, everybody's been talking about the Tiger King, which is, I'm going to admit, even though that I'm a media critic, I've not watched Tiger King.
I haven't either.
I just feel the need to, kind of like Titanic. There for many years, I had this thing. It's like, if I suddenly died in a car crash or an asteroid hit me or something weird, and then I was dead, I would say put on my tombstone, here lies, Bo, he never saw Titanic. Because everybody was like, "Good, you say Titanic and you like movies," and I was just like, "No, I just don't want to see that movie. I just don't give a shit."
Dude, but it had Billy Zane.
I know it had Billy Zane, and so did the Phantom, and it doesn't make Phantom any better.
Phantom was sick though. I don't know what you're talking about there.
When's the last time you watched Phantom? You might be thinking
like
Shadow
5
because
years ago.
Shadow rules.
No, because only the Shadow knows.
We know what evil lurks inside the hearts of Phantom and the director and everybody involved in that movie. That movie was not good.
Whatever, dude. I think you're wrong about that. Most recently, I watched it probably within the last 5 years.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that like a thing that you do all the time?
I mean, every now and then, why not?
Weird.
When's the last time you watched The Phantom?
I honestly, I tried to watch it about a month ago. I was like, you know what? Hey, Billy Zane, because I love me some Billy Zane. Like Demon Knight, one of my favorite performances of Billy Zane. If you've never seen Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, the movie, is the Tales from the Crypt movie, the first one, Bordello of Blood, not so much. But
but that one's good.
I mean, it has Corey Feldman in it, and that's cool.
And it has a Dennis, the old Weekend Update guy. What's his Dennis Miller?
Dennis Miller, yeah. Speaking of hookers, Bordello of Blood. But so Vince says me not seeing Titanic was his Predator. I only saw it like 5 years ago. So I eventually saw Titanic when it got re-released in theaters.
Predator's so good.
What about
How can
7?
you not watch Predator?
Yeah, because I mean Vince, he's. I mean, some people got a stance, and you got to respect that. But with Titanic, I got dragged to it and saw it in when it got re-released in theaters about 7 or 8 years ago for its how many th anniversary. And
Were you amazed?
it's not a bad movie. It's
not a bad movie.
And I knew it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't hate on it. I just didn't want to get on board. There's just sometimes you just want to just go, like the fact that you think you publicly say anime's dumb, and when you just know in your heart that it's awesome, and you see exactly, then me and Titanic, there it is. Right?
I mean, there's like a handful of anime that's like okay,
like One Piece,
yeah, like One Piece, Fist of the North Star,
Initial D.
Oh yeah, well, Initial D's not really anime. Initial D is just a
anime.
timeless classic tale of mountain drifting and car boys.
And Akira. You don't like Akira?
Yeah, but Akira's not a complete story, and it's incomplete and it's not finished.
But but you're saying it's still good though, right?
Could have used some more Bosozoku and less telekinesis transformation.
But you've still seen it. And anyway, so I don't know how we got on an anime train, but Titanic, movies you see. Oh, I remember Tiger King. So the reason I brought up Tiger King is, and this is the Bo's rule of everything involving movies and content. If we watch a lot of it and we give it money and people talk about it on the internet for like more than 15 minutes, we're going to get more of it than we could possibly stomach.
Yeah.
And series where they're going to explore the world of Joe Exotic, and
in prison.
Yeah, they're just gonna dig up. They're gonna find that barrel, and they're gonna go, oh, how much? There's gonna be crispy bits, like the crispy bits at the bottom of Long John Silver's fish and chicken basket, but they're not gonna be a half as delicious. And
So say I've watched you order just those.
We promised we weren't gonna tell the people at home that there has been times in my life where I straight up ordered just a side of the crispy bits.
Well, but they need to know, man. Now that you can,
those crispy bits are good.
You
damn
can
it.
do that. You can go up to them and be like, I want just that. And they're like, okay, yeah. And they'll give it to you like in scoop form.
I mean, yeah. It's delicious, dude. They're the little crispy bits, the crispums, I think is what I called them at that time in life. Oh, man. Yeah, so Skylar on Facebook, she says that's the best part. She's right. They are the best part. It's the pure, it's like, I don't know if you were to distill flavor down into, just a pure crystalline form, a little nugget of gorgeous. Those are them crispums, them crispy bits, them thick. The
Get your own
fixins.
fixins, Kenny.
The fixins.
Yeah, make your own fixins. Here,
Quick, Kenny.
I have an idea about how we can get some more of them fixins.
Fixins.
Yeah. Well, everyone said when we went to that picture of Joe Exotic there, it got muted. All you missed was that we were saying that they're adding more. There's another episode coming out of
Oh no, absolutely. But they have announced that they want to continue this thing. They want to keep this train rolling as long as they can. So they're looking for it. They're looking for more. They're looking for more.
Dude, speaking of more, you know what I saw about TV?
What'd you see
Is
about
that,
TV?
Christopher Maloney is coming back to reprise his role as Elliot Stabler in an SVU spin-off series.
What?
Yeah, and he was the good part of SVU.
I never watched SVU. I
Dude,
don't know.
SVU is sick because every episode there's like some terrible, horrible, heinous, awful human being.
Heinous, most non-heinous.
Exactly. And it's just like the worst people that do like, weird, not okay sex crimes. And then they get caught and busted. And it's the best because the whole episode, you're like, oh, that's the worst person ever. And then they get caught and you're like, yeah, you go to jail forever. It's awesome. And Elliot Stabler was the coolest one. So now he's back.
Coming back. Luther is back also. Speaking of cops that bust him. Idris Elba reprising the Luther role for a season 5. So yeah, definitely gonna probably check that out if you're needing some TV.
He recently recovered from the Roni.
He did.
Yeah. So
what's it like having the Roni?
Good thing Idris Elba made it. So
that's true. I like Idris Elba. I'm kind of sad that they didn't do him as a Bond. I thought that would have been pretty cool. Idris Elba as a Bond. Of all the people that they were, I think that it would have been cool. I like Idris Elba. I think he's cool. I like him. I think he's.
But is he Bond cool?
He could be.
I don't know, dude. Did you watch? You watched Dark Tower and
Shut up.
You watched Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Shut up. Did you hear that Hobbs and Shaw? They're like, I guess we got to make a sequel to this too.
Oh, why? Why?
Well, because money.
Dude,
that's exactly why. Because Joe Exotic. Because people at home are just like, I saw it and I gave it money. I guess I'd watch another one because. But
it was such a slow build on making the money back on that. It seems like that would be one where they were like, well, this was a good little one-off, one-shot thing, especially since its storyline takes place after the Fast and Furious movie that we won't get to see until next year. So it didn't make sense. Even if you're a big Fast and Furious fan, it makes no sense because the story that it is a leap point from has not been shown to us yet. And we won't get to see it until a year from 3 weeks from now.
Fast and Furious garbage. Oof. In the comments, we're going to leave Fast and the Furious in the parking lot for a moment. But Vince asked, are there any good shows or any good original show on Apple TV? I don't have Apple TV because I'll never in my life give Apple my money anymore. I used to work for that company. I was a territory sales person for. I'm not going to get into that part of my life. But Apple can suck all of the fat sausages forever. I can't stand them as a company. But Apple TV, the only original show that I've been kind of interested in wanting to see was the Amazing Stories. This Spielberg. It's not Spielberg doing every one of them, but it's Spielberg's Amazing Stories. Did want to check that one out.
Well, Vince said he watched it and thought it was not so good.
It doesn't surprise me.
You know what, too? That's like a Quibi, all the ads for Quibi being pushed everywhere. I'm probably not going to ever watch Quibi shows, even though it has a bunch of unique original series on there for some reason. But, not for me.
Oh, to a lot of our listeners of the show, several months ago, we reviewed Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and everybody's like, well, how can I watch this movie? How can I watch this movie?
It's streaming now.
It's streaming now. It is there. You can
I
check it
think
out.
it's included with Prime currently.
It is.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I watched it the other day.
It's the same thing as having gone to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back the first time around, except not as good this time.
Agreed.
And they talk about that for the entire 2-hour runtime of that movie.
It was kind of funny though. Like I didn't realize that Joey Lauren Adams was she got called in, and because she lives here in Arkansas again. But she I worked with her a couple of times on some stuff, and but yeah, she lived here in Fayetteville for a hot second, and then I think she lives down in Little Rock now. But then I saw her and I was like, oh, there she is.
Well, yeah, she was Amy.
She was Amy that they chased.
Oh, she wasn't Amy, huh?
No.
Amy was the name that Bob told in the story.
Yes.
Yeah, I forget what her character's name was. Yeah. And she was in Mallrats.
She was in Mallrats. She was the chick that was always taking her clothes off in the
Bob
in the
kept
changing room.
accidentally stumbling into her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Johnny said that Paul Rubens would make a great secret agent, man. Do the Pee-wee dance. He's like sneaking.
Tequila. I know you were, but what am I? I can't do a good Pee Wee Herman. I never have. It's Paul Rubens is an amazing man.
Oh, you know what? I had a video chat with some friends last week, and one of them was using Pee Wee's Playhouse as the virtual background.
Because Pee Wee's Playhouse is where, if you're going to be quarantined, that's where you'd want to be. You got Cherry and Globy and
lots of characters to talk to.
Maybe Cowboy. Well, Cowboy Carol just couldn't come over because he doesn't live in the house. But hey, wouldn't it be great if you had Lawrence Fishburne just coming in and saying howdy, and you have the king of cartoons and Penny and the Jazz Cats and the fish, like and then what. Zombie, the genie, Mecca like a high, Mecca hiney ho. Give me like a cure for COVID.
There's plenty of stuff to do at Pee Wee's Playhouse, man.
Yeah. Oh man, there is plenty. Man, I want to. Dude, I love Pee Wee's Playhouse. Like. It's gonna be that kind of morning. We're feeling wacky. At Pee Wee's Playhouse. Be-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. Globy spinning, Mr. All right. Never mind. We're not gonna go down that one. And Terry's flying by. Hello. All right. Never mind. Just a new topic change. Let's talk about something intelligent. Like let's talk about something smart to make us not look like total buttholes. Yeah, you went. I was
flipping through a book. That's how you
book.
look smart.
I'm gonna drink this. I'm gonna stop drinking Coca-Cola. I'm gonna drink this Fiji water, and I'm gonna flip the pages of this book. Just kind of going through. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? We never got a chance to watch that Wendy movie. Talking about Fiji water, because that whole movie trailer looked like the commercial for Fiji water.
Are you talking about Wendy with
yeah, that new Peter Pan.
I talking about Mandy. I was like, I totally watched Mandy.
No, that new take on Peter Pan.
It didn't get to come out.
Yeah. Did the Roni hit right as it was scheduled for release?
Yeah, it was scheduled for very limited release, and then.
You know what I saw that really bummed me out, man? That Top Gun Maverick was pushed all the way back to Christmas.
Ooh, dang! There's not going to be any hanging with the boys.
I was like, that's the song that you pick out of like the whole soundtrack is the volleyball like jam.
Yes, the volleyball jam.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
I know. I mean, dude,
Kenny Loggins.
Everything Kenny Loggins is good from that movie, but everyone only knows Highway to the Danger Zone. You know, everyone's like, oh, Danger Zone.
Of course, Highway.
But yeah, you have like multiple Kenny Loggins jams.
Danger Zone. Yeah. Talking about the highway to the Danger Zone. Jasper says, volleyball scenes in winter? No, it just doesn't work. You can't do it. Shout outs to Lucy, who's tuning in. She says, hi, Bo. I have that same flannel. This is like my most comfy shirt that I own, and I've only been wearing comfy shirts now because who cares? Like my hair's growing crazy wild, and I just dress. I'm not even. We're just wearing like sweatpants. We're wearing like I'm wearing my Kiss house boots, my Gene Simmons Kiss house boots, which I actually do own a pair of Gene Simmons Kiss house boots. It's just loungewear forever. I assume everybody else is sitting around wearing loungewear because why not? That's what we do.
Not exactly related, but you know what piece of Kiss clothing I've always wanted and never been able to find?
What's that?
The Gene Simmons boxers from Detroit Rock City movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Detroit Rock City, that movie is one I got so excited about. I went and saw it in theaters when it came out many, many years ago. And it's not bad. It's not a bad. It's not all centered around Kiss. For those of you like, yeah, I think Kiss is stupid. Well, A, you're stupid. But B, it's a fun road buddy comedy about, there's...
Kiss is just like the end, man. It's like the goal. It's what brings this group of friends together that causes them to go on a wacky journey.
Road comedy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, that there's something about it that is actually pretty engaging and pretty fun, because it's never, while there's over the top parts, it's never so over the top like super bad where you're like, oh, there's a flamethrower crackhead in the street, or was that Project X? No, that was Project X.
Yeah, Project X. That was at the end, because the guy that they took the drugs from, he came back at the end and was like, screw you, dude. So the kid was able to pin all of the damage and everything on that guy.
On flamethrower crackhead.
Project
guy.
X wasn't so bad if you watch it only one time I did.
Only one time. Oh, man. Skylar on Facebook says she has a hole in the ass of my favorite comfy pants. Walk around the neighborhood in them now. Yeah, there you go. That's always embarrassing when you find that hole, in a good pair of jeans, and then the hole of where the nut that sags lowest is always rubbing. And guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? And then you have a blowout in that spot, and you're like, oh crap, and you're at work, and you're like, oh shoot, what do you do? And you can't excuse me, gentlemen, my balls are hanging out of my pants, like Ace Ventura. Excuse me, sir, your balls are showing. Which I don't normally like super stupid slapstick comedy like that, but every time I see that scene, I laugh. Anyway, yeah, it's a terrible problem. So shout outs to your pants. And Jody over here commenting with the the Picard face. But those of you that are in the watch party on my personal Facebook, thanks for tuning in. If you do want to get in on this chat screen here, you can go to our Drive-In Speakerbox Facebook Live or YouTube channel, which is down here in the visual display. You can check that out. It's a lot easier to cast it to your TV from YouTube if you want to watch us on the TVs.
You can see Vince talking about Fanboys. Do you ever watch that movie?
Is that the one where they go to the Star Trek convention? Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's it.
But they do in that movie get in a fight with people at a Star Trek convention.
That's right.
And it has Seth Rogen as a giant Star Trek nerd. Mm-hmm. And there's a Star Trek statue, and they focused on their dong way too much, and they make fun of them. And actually it has Kristen Bell in it.
Wow.
Okay.
Dude, who doesn't have a crush on Kristen Bell?
She's in Slave Leia costume in a portion of that movie.
I know.
Which actually, you know what? All of us being starved for content and stuff, I started watching The Good Place.
Did you really?
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of that?
I haven't, even though it has Ted Danson and Kristen Bell in it.
Yeah, Ted Danson's awesome in it.
That's because Ted Danson's always awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Ted Danson's cool.
And I love Ted Danson when he's in Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think that's what made the Ted Danson brand so strong, is because
Cheers?
No, but in Cheers he wasn't playing Ted Danson. He was the character on Cheers, but then after Curb Your Enthusiasm, the Ted Danson is now a character in and of itself. And yeah, Ted Danson's cool. I like Ted Danson.
Yeah, I watched Fanboys in the movie theater when it was a Fathom event. A one night, one showing only thing for that movie that was never got a big release.
Never does.
Yeah, not bad.
So, for those of you that are tuning in and watching, I know you're listening to us talk a lot, and this is what we do every week. But seeing as how there's not a lot happening in Hollywood, we're just kind of love shooting the shit with you guys. What movies are you guys watching at home? I mean, everybody's watching TV shows, but to me, like, just sitting down and watching a good movie, like an encapsulated narrative, not one that has 10 or 15 sequels, but just a good, solid movie. If you got like an hour and a half to kill, what are you guys checking out? Like I was just saying earlier, I've been flipping back through this book. This is a book I've had for years. It's 1,001 movies to see before you die. Yes, I have a lot of movie books. I have like the video watchdog books like that. You remember those? I have a whole bunch of those things. What do you?
It has Mad Max, the first one, in here.
Well,
really?
Yeah,
I mean,
need to see that.
No, the first one sucks.
But you need to see it to understand the trajectory of what it did.
You don't, though.
Well,
you can definitely start with Road Warrior and have no problem.
No, you have to know. You have to see it. This is movies that are impactful for lots of ways.
But they don't make sense when you watch the first one and then you watch Road Warrior. Because Road Warrior, Thunderdome, and whatever that new one, Fury Road, they all they have like a similar thing going on. Desert, Australia, wasteland nonsense. Same thing with the tie-in video game that's super good, by the way. But the first movie is like normal society still there. There's buildings and greenery and
all the things that you need. A greener boy needs.
Yeah, but then the rest of them don't really fit. You can definitely watch Road Warrior and not ever need to watch the first one.
Well, I think that starting at the beginning is very important. It's just like the Evil Dead franchise. Yes, you can start at Evil Dead 2 and never have to watch Evil Dead because they kind of encapsulate the first one. But you need to know. You need to have that reference point.
It's not like in Road Warrior or Thunderdome that they ever talk about his wife being killed in the first movie and him being a former cop and having any kind of motivations or reasoning there, because it doesn't matter and it doesn't play into the character. He never mentions it, and he's just a dude that's in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the whole like future cop nonsense thing from the first movie doesn't matter and plays nothing into the rest of the movies at all.
Well, it's because they needed to make him. It's kind of like Rambo 2. Rambo 2 and Rambo 1. Rambo 1 never was supposed to have a sequel. It wasn't.
No.
But
First Blood.
And then they saw so much potential to make it into sort of a character that had more sequels, because it was like, oh man, this is cool. Let's watch this. And they changed the story. That's what they did with the Mad Max.
They had both endings, and the test audience didn't like the ending where Rambo killed himself in the pawn shop or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then that's why, in First Blood Part 2, you have him working hard labor in a military prison. But then he gets called upon to go rescue some POWs and shoot that dude with the bow and arrow at the waterfall.
Yeah, that waterfall bow and arrow scene was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go in and talk about what everybody's been watching before the comments go. Vince said he checked. Oh, he was talking about The Good Place.
Well, he said made mention that you get to see Sam from Cheers kind of in an episode, right, which is pretty good.
Let's see. Vince watched The Way Back. He said it was fine. Did you watch that one? Mm-mm. The recent one with Ben Affleck, and he's just like, oh, sad Christian basketball.
No, because the Roni hit right when that was about to be the only thing in theaters. Because we were like, I guess, like, what are we gonna watch? This is one option, and then theater shut down.
Yep. Johnny Dalton said we watched The Heavenly Kid yesterday. Is that the movie that I'm thinking of? Heavenly Kid. I have to refresh my memory there, because I know that's going to be, 85. That's what I thought. Wow, digging deep there. Guardian Angel. Now, I don't watch, you remember the Paul Hogan movie, Almost an Angel?
Yes.
That's a really good angel movie. And the only good John Travolta movie is the one where he was that angel. Michael. Yeah, that's a pretty good
only good John Travolta movie? Bruh. What?
Okay, maybe Face Off.
What? Those are the two. What about Broken Arrow, man?
We've already discussed Broken Arrow. Not today, but we've discussed Broken Arrow. And yes, it has Christian Slater, and I do like Christian Slater, but that is not enough to save that movie. And it does have a stealth bomber, which at the time were really cool looking. Pulp Fiction.
I don't like Pulp Fiction, so
I'll
be with you on that.
I like Pulp Fiction, but I don't consider that a John Travolta movie. He's in it, but he's just...
he's the one with all the quotes that everyone says when they talk about the movie?
No, a lot of those were Samuel L. Jackson, the Royale with cheese. And anyway, let me see. Jasper, he says that he's watching his Whit Stillman DVDs. Whit Stillman, that's kind of an odd DVD collection to go through. I mean, Love and Friendship, Last Days of Disco. I remember that one quite a bit. That's some pretty fun ones. Flex says, enjoying the podcast, watching it with the family right now. Love the backdrop. Thanks. This is not a green screen. These are real things that we, this is
spent too much money on.
We buy a lot of silly stuff and collect silly stuff. I did find my Goonies key. I found that. So yeah, this is not a Zoom meeting, boys. We on a real set here, and I've been seeing people like big name like podcasters and stuff, and it's like they're just sitting there in front of a green screen. Dude, build a set. Like do it real. Let's see.
Johnny
here.
said he's been watching The Wizard. Are you talking like the Fred Savage
Power
Glove Wizard?
Dude, Super Mario Bros. 3 debuted in
autistic
that movie?
little brother going to a speed run competition before that was a thing.
He freaking did it, and they're like, "Oh, he found the whistle!" Ah! And the kid, like the thing that drove me nuts about that movie is when I was a kid, I had a rich friend, and he had a Power Glove, and we're like, "Yeah, oh my God, Power Glove!" And we never figured out how to use that thing ever. Like to this day, as a grown ass adult that worked in IT for a while, I'm like, how the did this thing work?
Did you ever know anyone that had the robot that came out with
Roby?
NES systems?
Hell yeah. We played Gyromite all night, and watching that little dude pick up discs. He wasn't very good at it, but it was really cool to see him do the thing.
I've never actually seen one of those in real life.
I used to have one. I've got a Virtual Boy around here somewhere.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You can see everything in red. Oh, do you have Wario Land for it?
I have no, I have Mario Tennis, but I mean, what it does do is it's just a headache machine. So if you want a headache, I can pull it out.
Yeah, because it has 3 shades of red, and that's it.
That's it.
Dude, look at this. Grease. That's a good one. Not as good as Grease 2.
I don't like Grease.
Wow. What about the Thomas Jane Punisher, where he was the bad guy?
He was in that.
Yeah, John Travolta was the bad guy.
All I remember is Thomas Paine being in that, and
What?
I don't know. Sometimes he just runs in the
It
background.
had Diesel, Big Sexy. It had
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
I ate breakfast with Kevin Nash once a long time ago in Orlando. Yeah,
he was the Russian that came to the apartment.
Huge. One of the hugest people.
Yeah, he's like 7 something. He was a college basketball player, and then he became Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
It's huge. It's huge. Let's see here.
See, Johnny.
Jody over on the Facebook watch party says they're watching Contagion. And Skylar says that Jude Law is hot, which I think no one's going to argue with. There's a lot of really good Jude Law movies that a lot of people haven't seen. Like Sleuth is a really, really fun one.
Jude Law is one of those dudes that every time he's in a movie, if you go back just a few episodes, we're always like, oh, this movie, but Jude Law was really good.
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law is a good actor,
He's
y'all.
always great.
But you know what?
She said the rest of the movie was super surface level and didn't really go anywhere. I think there was a Soderbergh movie. I like Soderbergh, but Contagion is definitely not one of his strongest films.
No, but if you go back the last 2 episodes, you did that whole list on the evening where I was held at bay from the show about movies to watch other than Contagion for the whole quarantine thing, and then we kind of expounded on that last week too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You can rewind and watch previous episodes. You can watch episodes of the Drive-In Speakerbox just like you'd binge watch Netflix over on our YouTube channel. It's real easy to do. You can just go down to youtube.com/the Drive-In Speakerbox. We've got tons and tons of these, and we do them in audio format, so you can take them to go, even though you shouldn't be leaving your house. We've been doing this for a really long time. And
what about Ransom?
Ransom?
Yeah, with Travolta.
No. I mean, it's okay, but it's just something about John Travolta. I'm just not okay. I'm not a fan. Andy from my Facebook watch party has given shout outs to you. I know it doesn't pop up in our main chat here because it's over on this screen, but shout outs to Ryan and Andy. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about the obvi movies where you're sneezing and in the movie theater like on Outbreak and everybody freaked out about it. Phil asks, have you checked out My Blue Heaven starring yeah, Steve Martin and Rick Moranis? That's a God, I haven't seen that movie since I was probably a kid. But I remember vividly the costumes and suits that Steve Martin would wear because he just looks so dapper in that show.
Yeah, but if you're gonna watch Steve Martin and Rick Moranis, why not watch Little Shop of Horrors?
Well, true, but My Blue Heaven is actually really, really good. Kind of a mobster and an FBI agent. They come from different worlds, and it's like a buddy comedy. And it's a little bit like Cops and Robertsons too.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Where it's like witness protection's gone wrong, gone bad. And who Jack Palance, wasn't he in
Cops and Robertsons? Yeah, he was the gritty cop that came in and had to stay with the Robertson family and live in their upstairs to keep tabs on the neighbors.
Oh man, I love Jack Palance. Another really good Jack Palance movie.
City Slickers.
Well, I knew you were. Everybody says he was curly. Everybody says City Slickers. I was gonna say Tango and Cash, my guys. Tango and Cash. Funny thing, I've been preaching the love of Tango and Cash on the Drive-In Speakerbox for a really long time. And everyone's like, "You're dumb. You're just
what? Who? What?"
People are just like,
"Who's ever told you that, man?"
They're just like, that movie seems lame and blah, blah. But now people are starting to come around and go, dude, Tango and Cash is good.
It's Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Yeah, and then Kurt Russell has the hots for Sylvester Stallone's sister.
Yeah, wasn't that like Terry Hatcher?
And then they have probably, and then they have to escape via zip line. Tango and Cash is such a cool
Chin
movie.
is in there. Dude.
Why would anyone be like, "Oh, that's dumb," when you're like, "Oh, dude, Tango and Cash"?
And then it has Jack Palance. He's the evil bad guy. And then there's this whole sort of Enter the Dragon style labyrinthine, end bossian fight that they have to go get this dude. And they have a big, fancy all-terrain vehicle thing that they have their own version of James Bond Q.
We should make a list of movies that have guys that are bad guys. That's why is this guy a bad guy? Craig T. Nelson in Turner and Hooch, and then Jack Palance in this, and Leslie Nielsen in Surf Ninjas.
Oh, Surf Ninjas.
I'm going to craft this list of movies with weird good guy, bad guys.
Speaking of schlocky films, so we got The Jerk. Jody is mentioning The Jerk.
Yeah, classic.
And then Skylar says City Slickers. Ryan asks, is that the old guy? Yes, that is the old guy. And Kurt Russell, Kurt Russell's amazing. Getting caught up here. Is there a theme here, or are we just talking about movies, Ryan? So,
there's a theme at times.
Actually, you just kind of answered your own question because that is a theme. Talking about movies is a theme. I don't know what you're kind of asking. It's a weird question, but the Drive-In Speakerbox normally, if this is your first time to our show, I've already said this once at the beginning of the episode, we have a very rigid format. It's a podcast that we've been doing. It was started as a radio show about 15 years ago. Been reviewing movies for a really long time. Anyway. The format normally we talk about movies that are in theaters, we talk about movies that are coming out, we review one that just came out, we talk about box office, we do a lot of different stuff. But since all of that is shut down, tonight we're just bullshitting about movies with you guys. We're giving you guys recommendations, we're asking what you guys are listening to, that's what we're doing. So
right now it's hard to have a full coherent theme for it since we don't have our normal format to go off of given the circumstances.
Yeah.
But
Word. So he says he's all aboard. So boom. Welcome to the show. What was I going to say? Oh, so going back in the comments, McLean, while you were talking about surf ninjas, McLean on YouTube, he asks, any recommendations for B schlock films?
Surf ninjas?
Oh, no, not surf ninjas. I got one even deeper. So I used to do a film series a few years ago. It's called Schlock Cinema, actually. I would show these movies kind of guerrilla style because you can't do public displays of films without getting rights. But the further deeper and schlockier you dig down, then it was easier. And this is, of course, before you could just Google everything. But most of the time you can find it. But he made me think of Surf Nazis Must Die. If you've never seen Surf Nazis Must Die, it's a great B schlocky, goofy, fun movie, fun music. Actually, I tried to have one of the guys that did a lot of the music composition on the show because he's a friend of mine. His name's John McCallum. Shout outs to John if you're listening home. I know you're probably not, but we love you all the same. But he did the music to that, and also Miami Connection, which is one that has now found cult fame. That the drive-in Speakerbox, we did a screening years ago before Alamo Draft House bought it up, and now it's kind of gotten some B schlock cult.
You did a lot of really fun movies during a bunch of those. You did Ghoulies once. Ghoulies is a fun one.
Ghoulies is a pretty schlocky.
You can watch that whole series.
That's pretty big.
Or like Johnny said, Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. I mean, that's I wouldn't consider that B.
Really?
But it's just Australian. I mean, it's Peter Jackson, dude.
New Zealand.
Oh yeah, that's right, New Zealand. But yeah, all down there is Australia.
It's a King Kong spinoff because it all takes place from a rabid monkey from Skull Island, and then you get to see a baby shoved into a blender.
It's true. A big zombie baby.
Yeah, I don't know
and
how
he
you're
straps a lawnmower to us and just walks through all of them. So JT Brown from Facebook asks, hey, Jake, do you remember when we watched Surf Ninjas with Jody?
Yeah, dude. Surf Ninjas is one of the best movies. Quan Su, dudes.
And Ryan Bradbury on Facebook, he says, scared the shit out of me as a kid, that Ghoulies. I hope you were sitting on the toilet when it scared the shit out of you.
Because that's where they come from.
But I never, like, there was a period where I didn't want to sit on toilets after Ghoulies. I'm like, dude, what if it
just
comes
don't
up and, like, gets up on my butt?
Well, just don't read the Ghoulies comic and you'll be all right.
That's true. You don't want
because that's how you summon them is reading the comic book, isn't it? Which Ghoulies movie was it that had them? The cover of the movie was them coming out of the toilet.
That's the first,
the very first
one.
Yeah,
the first one, and subsequent Ghoulies sequels after, because that was a very iconic image. Vince over there says The Stuff. The Stuff is a very, very famous kind of culty horror film about this the stuff that we all start eating, but it's like
Oreo cream.
Yeah, it's like gooey, evil, alien, toxic, kill you sludge, and everybody's faces melt. And The Stuff is really good. There's actually it's referenced a lot, I think. And you'll see packages in other horror movies. You'll see, like, if someone opens the freezer, sometimes you see a can of The Stuff, and that's a common Easter egg in some.
Wasn't
some
that one of the movies that was on the shelf in that Jordan Peele movie that one time? You talked about
yes, probably so. No, Chud. It was Chud.
Oh,
it was subterranean humanoids under. I can't.
Yeah,
remember
there's
what
a
Chud
whole
stands
bunch of
for.
them. Which, you know what?
Chud's also, if you've never seen Chud, McLean, going back to B movie recommendations, Chud is fantastic. Great movie poster too.
Back before Halloween, I had pre-ordered the 80s horror documentary. I got my super exclusive Elvira edition. Very cool, but I think it's available where you can buy it now. It's 4 hours and 40-minute documentary that goes year by year of almost every goofy horror movie released from 80 to 89, and there's a whole slew of goofy B movie schlocky movies in that for sure. You can just sit there with a notepad and make a list.
Just make a big old list.
Oh yeah.
Skylar from Facebook, she says Soylent Green. Soylent Green, again, a classic dystopian future tale. We mentioned that a couple episodes ago when we were talking about like this, post-apocalyptic future. But yeah, Soylent Green. I don't want to give it away, but Yeah, always know where your food comes from.
Secret ingredients.
Secret ingredient. Eric Jensen, shout outs from Milwaukee. DJ EJ tuning in. He says, obscure cult classic Plan 10 from outer space, a Utah made sci-fi Mormon movie. So, of course, reference to the Ed Wood classic Plan 9 from outer space with Tor and all those other guys. But yeah, I don't think I've seen the Plan 10. I mean, of course, I've got Plan 9 somewhere around here.
I just thought of a perfect B movie that's great anytime. You can watch it under any circumstances and enjoy it. Caveman.
There you Caveman.
Mm-hmm. Starring Ringo Starr.
Oh, yeah. Is that the... it's not to be mistaken with Clan of the Cave Bear.
No, that's a good movie,
But
though.
it is a good movie. Daryl Hannah and everything. But Caveman's pretty funny.
Yeah, Caveman's like a goofy, ridiculous, over-the-top movie about cave people, and they like...
Ultra.
Yeah, they have to like fight and eat dinosaurs and get eaten by dinosaurs, and yeah, that's a good one.
No, that one is actually a pretty silly old... I wouldn't call it. I mean, is that B now? Like, where does
Dude,
B...
it's not like that was, blockbuster movie material at the time, man.
No, but I mean, it's like there's a weird threshold that I think that is interesting to kind of think about and discuss when movies that are just old and have kind of fallen out of fame of the zeitgeist. Because I mean, if you think about it, like Tango and Cash was, going back to that as an example, was not a B movie. It was in theaters, and it was the 80s.
That's two huge names in an action movie,
right? It was not a B movie, but time goes by and people kind of forget about them, and new generations don't find, but then they discover them, and so. I don't necessarily classify that as a B movie. I feel like it's a lost film or kind of a rediscovered, or the cult classics. Cult movies are when people kind of follow them and they go, oh my God, these are amazing. How did we not know about these? And then these people like us try to spread these movies out into the world. And Skylar says, Son-in-Law.
That's not a B movie.
Definitely not a B movie, but dude, it is Pauly Shore, and Pauly Shore is my dude.
Yeah, dude.
He is
talking about squeezing on nugs and munch on some grandage.
Yeah.
Now, Son-in-Law rules, but that's a big budget movie because you had Pauly Shore, you had one of the...
Pauly Shore was on the top of his game when Son-in-Law was out.
You had one of the girls from Bayside. Who else was... Oh, you had the kid from The Big Green. You know I'm talking about, redhead kid?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember his name.
From Sandlot, the great Hambino.
Yeah, but I don't remember that. We can't remember them all.
Yeah, that's true. I can't.
But
Vince didn't like the weasel.
To follow up on Son-in-Law, if you've ever, if you want to go B movie, here we go, doing a deeper dive, but you still do love Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore is Dead is actually a pretty decent movie, and it was an indie film that he kind of scraped together and produced himself, and it's about him kind of coming to terms with this, which is kind of.
I don't think that's a B movie. I think it's just an independent film.
Yeah, it's an indie film,
and I've never seen any bad reviews for that movie.
No, Pauly Shore must die or is dead. Pauly Shore is dead is as pretty dadgum good.
And I don't know if it's a B movie because it was kind of made after the whole B movie thing ended. You don't really find those anymore. But there was like a made-for-TV movie where he plays this like New Jersey kind of mobster semi-guy that he goes to the South and he's in witness protection, but he teaches these moonshiners how to make like fruity drinks and stuff. And he has like this nasty spray tan. I can't remember what it's called, but it's actually pretty entertaining. It's very stupid. Don't expect it to like blow you away or anything, but
no, of course not.
It's real dumb, but it's real fun.
It is. It's a fun one. Another one I mentioned, I think several weeks ago, but a B movie, going back on that B movie list that is classified as a B movie, but also a cult classic is the Buckaroo Banzai.
Would Buckaroo Banzai be a? I guess it's a B movie. Yeah. With old Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Being a
not RoboCop.
Yeah, being a scientist, cowboy, samurai, surfer that time travels.
Hell yeah, dude.
He's like the world's smartest man with
I
the
mean-
world's dumbest crew of people.
He kind of is the world's smartest man, just by himself. I mean, he's got a PhD in like all kinds of history shit. Like, and he's a professor at a university.
Oh, in
Peter
real
Weller.
life?
Yeah, Peter Weller.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you ever watch how he studied to be RoboCop and all the disciplines he went through with like miming and all that stuff.
Popping and locking.
Dude, what do you want to bet? He's like sick. He could show up on the set of Breaking in the RoboCop outfit.
Yeah.
And then bust out the leg gun and like shoot all of them.
And it'd be like, all right, everybody drop it. Boom, 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 and just like, get
Yeah,
it.
arrest the whole Breaking crew.
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be a sick crossover.
RoboCop versus Boogaloo Shrimp and the rest of the Breaking crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a movie. I'd go see it.
And then after he like waste a bunch of dudes and there's bullet shells all over the ground, the dude with the broom
With the
comes
broom
by
would
and
come by,
like
like,
sweep it up.
Yeah, no, that would be cool, man. And Eric EJ says, "Wherever you go, there you are." From Buckaroo Banzai. Yes, that is a good. That is words of wisdom. By the way, there's a lot of meaning wrapped up in that one. But yeah, lots of really good. I was thinking about one recommendation I wanted to make to everybody. It's not really it's not a B movie. It's not a cult classic. But it was one movie that I wanted to mention tonight about. I don't want people to be watching movies about diseases and like all this kind of stuff because that just seems too easy. But there are things that are going on like. I think next week, not this week because we're running out of time, but I want to kind of next week's show, I want to talk about movies that kind of revolve around cabin fever and, kind of isolation and what that can do to you because I know a lot of people at home are starting to experience some of that. But one I was thinking about was Solaris. Is pretty and you kind of want to have to be up your own ass to watch this a little bit because it's not an easy watch. I wouldn't recommend. For most people, I wouldn't recommend the original film, but there is a George Clooney remake that is actually pretty damn good, and the music is fantastic. But it is creepy, and it is spooky, and it is isolating, and it is it's very much what a lot of people are having to go through right now. And so Solaris was one that I want to mention, and there was another one that I thought of.
The Moon.
Moon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Moon. God, geez, I love that movie so much. Yes, if you've never seen Moon, just because, like, watch that movie. Moon is great. Excuse me. And it has... Moon is one of those movies that, if you've never seen it, don't look up anything about it, just watch it. But Duncan Jones did a great job with this. It's a one-man movie. It's all Sam Rockwell, and it has the voice of Kevin Spacey, but don't worry about that. He's not like a big character in the movie because I know some people just can't watch. I can't watch a movie with Kevin Spacey in it anymore.
A lot of good movies you're not going to be able to see.
Exactly. But I'm not defending anything Kevin Spacey did because, fuck that guy. But he did do some really good roles. I still like the Beatles, and those guys were all huge pieces of shit. So what do you? Yeah, dude, have you ever heard any of the stories like when they were on tour and they're like, hey, we're 20-year-olds with access to, the world's wealth and power and influence. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but that's called rock and roll, man. Like... bands get away with a lot of crazy stuff, and everyone's like, "Well, that's rock and roll."
I know, but I don't think they should. I think that's you shouldn't do it. But Moon, check out Moon. Sam Rockwell, really cool movie.
It's like you're a huge Motley Crue and Kiss fan, and you're like, "I don't think these guys should be able to get away with this."
No. You're misunderstanding. I don't think those guys should be able to get away with it if other people can't. Also, it needs to be across the board. Either no gloves. No Holds Barred, which is actually a pretty good movie. Actually, it's a terrible movie, but it's a fun movie.
Whoa, hey, what? No Holds Barred rules.
It's no over the top.
What are you talking about, man? You have
My
Rip.
head's like a switch, just turn it around.
No, Rip 'em, dude, versus Zeus. Ah! The screams that he does. Dude, and you have more than one WWE Hall of Famer in that movie. You got
did I do?
Teensy Wieners, and it's like the whole dude, yeah, because he comes out. What's his name? He's a WWE Hall of Famer. I'll remember it in a minute. But he comes out to the two executives when they're going and they're finding out what MMA and bar brawls are. And then he comes out of the bathroom and he tells them they got teensy wieners and they pee on themselves. And it's hilarious. And you have Zeus. Bruh.
I do like Zeus.
You have Vince McMahon producing a movie about an evil TV producer, and he didn't
What's
see
that autobiography?
Yeah, he didn't see the irony there.
Oh man, I had a feeling if I mentioned No Holds Barred, that would happen.
Dude, I own No Holds Barred.
I know. Did I not buy you that?
No, I bought it. Came with something else wrestling that I bought one time. I have a Rip 'em T-shirt.
Yeah, of course you do.
Of course I do.
Oh
Yeah,
No
dude,
Holds
because it rules.
Barred. I don't necessarily. Well, okay. I'm not.
You know what you should watch? Mr. Nanny.
Why are
No
we just
Holds Barred.
Are we just going down a Hulk Hogan?
Suburban Commando.
Hey, Suburban Commando is kind of funny.
Yeah, Suburban
Yeah,
Commando is awesome.
But Mr. Danny. What? I mean, that's just a common like tale as old as time movie about. Oh, I'm a big dumb guy, and now I gotta do kids mom stuff.
Yeah, but he
Like,
hangs out with George Jefferson and rides a motorcycle.
doesn't mean it's a good movie. You know?
All right. Well,
Yeah, Vince says the grip has a photographic memory to
yeah,
movies like No
that's
Holds Barred.
that's why I'm on this show. That's my superpower is knowing a bunch of stuff about dumb movies.
Yeah, we just like on the next episode, we're just gonna sit and we're just gonna recite a movie from start to finish, and it'll be like that. Actually, before we go, because I mean we're running out of time, we're running out of camera battery because I don't have the AC adapter, so we're running off battery. But one of the things that one of our viewers had suggested to us, Skylar, Facebook says Kindergarten Cop, it's not a tumor. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
See, but that's a blockbuster too.
It's a huge blockbuster. It's a fun movie. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
if you want to go more B movies,
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
If you want to go more B movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would go more towards like Raw Deal or Commando or
Commando's not a B movie.
But I mean, it's more obscure. It's like John Matrix.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
And he
Remember
flips
when
the
I said
Porsche
I'd
over.
kill you last? I
Lied. Boo! And he like the Porsche that flips over and he flips it back over and it's totally repaired because continuity errors.
And he
are really
drives the
going.
Blazer down the entire side of that mountain.
Oh, is that when like at the beginning he's carrying a whole tree trunk in his
Yeah.
hand?
And a tiny Alyssa Milano.
Andy, Thunder in Paradise. Okay,
Oh.
there you go. Thunder in Paradise. Thank you, Andy.
Watch both movies and the series. Do it. Yes.
I would just start.
Thunder in Paradise. Dude,
I would just start with the movie.
Thunder in Paradise stars Hulk Hogan as a Navy SEAL that lost one of his eyes and his brother, and they're both beach bodybuilder dudes that everyone loves. And they protect the beach with thunder, their black stealth boat.
Thunder in Paradise is pretty cool. Ryan says Conan the Barbarian. Conan, Ryan, I know you don't watch the show a lot, but I kind of worship that movie. That movie is
Both of
it's a
those also
masterpiece.
because
Masterpiece of directing, masterpiece of film scoring from Graham Revell. Like, I mean, there's
oh man,
or it wasn't Graham Revell. It was
Rip Brewmeister Smith, man. We were just talking about that the other day when
and Max von
when
Sydow.
Max von Sydow died. Yeah.
But it's like, what is best in life? A fleet horse, a falcon on your wrist, and a wind in your hand. No, Conan. What is best in life? To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of women.
Yeah, it rules.
Oh, that is best.
And then Conan the Destroyer is amazing. You got Andre the Giant as like a sex rhino, and you have Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, dude. Vince says twins kind of forgotten to time. Actually, not so much because they were in
Triplets.
talks of making triplets.
According to Schwarzenegger,
so-
it was already pre-production.
Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, and Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
set to be the third twin, and that is a real thing that's on the books that they will probably do after this is all said and done. Because Eddie Murphy's kind of making a nice resurgence into filmmaking again, and kind of shaking his whole PG world and life that he did and getting back into it. There's the movie on Netflix that he did that was really, really good. The Dolomite Is My Name, which if you've
That's
never,
a movie to watch.
that
yeah.
is the original. Dolomite Is My Name and Dolomite. Watch Dolomite first because everything makes a lot more sense. And if you don't know Rudy Ray Moore, then you haven't been listening to this show long enough. But Rudy Ray Moore, a Fort Smith native, by the way, is hilarious and amazing and really, really good one. Oh, thanks, Ryan. He says I have a pretty good Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I just realized that I'm wearing the Austrian Death Machine T-shirt right now too.
Yeah. Gubernatorial. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So we are almost out of time. I really love this conversation. I wish we could keep this thing going, but we're gonna do it. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
And the thing I was saying, one of our viewers suggestion, and I want to figure out how to do it, but they want to do a watch along. Would any of you guys be interested in doing that? We used to do it. We used to do these live. They were called Schlock Cinemas. But I could slow a schlackish movie. I can show you guys a schlocky movie or give a link to it in the thing so we can watch it together. Because I don't think I can broadcast it legally and not get shut down. But we could watch it together and we could commentate, give facts, give fun info. Because trust me, we're better than Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah,
I've done it live.
Maybe is that Netflix party thing, that Chrome add-on, is it working yet?
I don't know. I'll have to check it out. But Jody on Facebook, he says, before we wrap it up, he just wants to know that we stopped Joe Exotic to watch this. So thank you very much. And, drive in Speakerbox, like and subscribe. We do this all the time. We've been doing this for years. We love talking. This has been really fun for us because we never, usually in our traditional format, we don't get to just shoot the shit so much and just go down the rabbit holes of movies that we love. And so I think it'd be fun. We might actually be able to raise some money for like the Pinpoint staff or raise some money for something. And we could do an invite code, buy a virtual ticket and, do it on something like Cast, like Vince said. So
that would be cool.
And that way we can get around a lot of these copyright rules. And that way I might be able to pull some of my DVDs out and shit that you cannot find online.
Yeah, and help people that are being affected by COVID shutdowns and stuff like that too. Yeah, that'd be cool. I can find my copy of No Holds Barred.
And we could just watch it together.
And we could just scream Zeus over and over again.
That actually sounds like
with
fun.
old Tiny Lister that most of you probably would recognize from Friday.
Oh yeah, everybody remembers him from that. But we've got a lot of time to figure this out, and we're having to think outside the box and come up with creative new ways of getting through all this. But speaking of fundraisers, for those of you that don't know, I own a bar here in town, and it has been closed since the 16th. We got hit with a lot of disaster, and it's been kind of tough for a lot of my guys. And of course, the rent that keeps coming through, and the insurance and bills that don't stop. But we're one of our local celebs, Chris Selby, aka Clunk, is wanting to do. He's doing a little fundraiser on Wednesday. So you can search for that. Yep, there it is right there. That we're doing. I'm going to be doing a DJ set over at Pinpoint, entertaining you guys, playing some music, and then followed by that, he's going to do like kind of a weird, fun, his own special brand of crazy trivia crap, because Clunk is a crazy, awesome dude. And we're gonna all that money raised there is going to go to support the staff at Pinpoint. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, and so I think that we could do one of these movie things. I think that I'll get to work on that. I'll see what we can do because I think that could be a lot of fun. So anyway, Phil says Jake can we just watch Howard the Duck?
Yes,
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, that's the part you'd have to deal with us singing at the end of the movie where they have the band and Howard comes out and just shreds on the little guitar.
Fun fact, the bad guy scientist in that got arrested for child pornography.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, the principal from Ferris Bueller. Yeah.
I know, weird. See, and these are the kind of things that you learn when you watch movies with us.
Stan Hansen, that's the name of the wrestler I was trying to think of with the teensy wiener quote from No Holds Barred. Yeah.
Johnny Dalton says, could you do it on a weekend? I'm at work on Mondays. It probably won't be on a Monday. It'll probably be a different day of the week. Weekends right now are kind of incredibly oversaturated with live streaming content, so we'll really trying to figure that one out. But Vince says we could easily watch The Grip talk a whole movie. LOL. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week and maybe another time, not just Monday. So like and subscribe, share. We appreciate you tuning in. Drive-In Speakerbox on Facebook, and then also youtube.com/the Drive-In Speakerbox. And thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Bye.